Hello, hello.
We're back.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Welcome to Trip Chat, and today we've got Stuart. Long awaited. There we have
There
him.
we are. You're live.
Stuart
Hi, guys.
Cordner is the co-owner and co-director of Cruise Loch Lomond. We're happy to have you on today. And let's start off. We saw a lovely video of Loch Lomond and the cruise ships. So tell us, how did it all start?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. Great to be online. Started back in 1978. My late father and my mother started the business here on Loch Lomond with one passenger boat. And here we are over 40 years later with a fleet of 8 passenger boats, offering a range of cruises both for FITs and for groups as well.
So how old were you when you first started working and helping on the boats?
Oh,
I don't want to, but in the, were you a wee boy and did you help out, or
Yeah,
did they reel you in right away?
cleaning tables, 17 coffee, yeah. And then progressed slowly to getting my skipper's ticket and a summer job from school and uni, and then back full-time the business about 26 years ago.
Yeah. And you're doing it together with your cousin, you said?
Yep. Fred and I now currently run the business. Fred's been working here since way back in the early days. Again, like myself, as a crew member and skipper, and then, as I say, the pair of us now run the business.
So how many boats do you have at the moment?
We've got eight boats in the fleet, all of different sizes, which gives us a lot of flexibility. The largest boats, they have a capacity for about 126. Our most recent acquisition, she came from Loch Ness, the Lomond Monarch.
Uh-huh.
And
I think I've actually got a photo
the
here of some
smaller
of the
ones.
boats. I'll try and get them up there for you.
Thanks, Sean.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
So now we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boats. Yeah.
8 boats all with the sunset heading on to Loch Lomond there. Beautiful shot there.
Yeah. So obviously
Great.
you can't be at Loch Lomond properly today because you had to stay home, of course. We're all staying safe. But we tried to bring some of Loch Lomond to you with photos that we've got there. So yeah, there you see the fleet. So it's no secret. Sean and I have both been on your boat several times because obviously with all the tour groups that we have, we've been scheduled to be on your boat so many times. So it's always been such a pleasure. So talk us through, how does it normally work? If you come with a big group, or if you even come as an individual traveller, how does it work?
Yeah, we've got a range of cruises for individuals, for FIT travellers. We have a scheduled cruise program which operates 7 days a week, and those cruises vary from a basic 1-hour circular cruise, just let people relax on board with a live commentary.
Yeah.
We have a bar on board and tea, coffee, and snacks available.
And you have it in different languages. You have it all pre-printed for the.
Yeah.
I know my bit off heart now, but it's nice. You have all these little pointers so that we know how to translate it into the languages.
Absolutely, just pointing out the main place of interest. Telling people what wildlife we might see, and then for the more energetic or those that have maybe more time to spend on the loch, we do cruises to some of the islands. This time of year, the bluebells on some of the islands are just coming into bloom, and it's a stunning part of the world.
It is. Do you have favourite corners on Loch Lomond, or is everything the same to you? As in,
no, I mentioned island there. Inchkilloch Island is beautiful. There's no traffic, no shops. It's almost like a famous 5 adventure island.
Yeah.
Very safe. We then have stunning waterfalls at Inversnaid Hotel.
Yeah.
Again, over on Eastern Shore, where we have the West Highland Way, the very famous and popular nature trail that runs from Glasgow up to Fort William. So we have a daily product where people get the opportunity to walk a 7-mile stretch of the West Highland Way. And again, over on that eastern shore of the loch, it's stunning. There's no traffic. It's tranquil. It's quiet. It's very special.
It is, isn't it? You know what? I've never walked the trail yet, but obviously we point out all the walkers, and I always wonder what it's like. And have you ever actually been to one of the caves, Rob Roy's caves, where like big ones? Yeah.
So Rob Roy's cave, just north of Inversnaid, where Rob Roy had hid from the Redcoats.
Yeah. And
he took refuge there. He was successful in evading them, and he eventually died of a natural death.
Yeah.
So we're steeped in a lot of clan history in this area.
Yeah.
We have the McGregors over on the northeastern shore, and then the local one to Tarbert would be the McFarlanes, and then of course down round about the village of Luss we have the clan
Cahoon. Yeah. Que je puis, is their motto.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
So you sometimes, like you said, you drop people off on the eastern side, or you pick them up from there. That's how it works.
Yep, we as well as the cruises, we operate a water bus service for pick up and drop off. Whether it be people just wanting to go one way, maybe in the evening they're coming off the West Highland Way and they need accommodation on the western shore, and then the following morning we take them back over to the eastern shore and allow them to continue their walk north.
Yeah.
We also have found in the last couple of years, again, people who've got a bit of time, they might go and spend half a day over at Balmaha. So again, departures from Luss would take visitors over to Balmaha or maybe to Rowerdennin, where they can go and climb Ben Lomond and then enjoy the views from the top. So it's Scotland's most southerly Munro.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon we'd then bring them back to Tarbert or Luss.
So do you count? Are you waiting for them to be back, so just in case they got lost a bit?
Well, no, we do have a checklist.
Yeah. So you wait for them to.
Yeah.
And there is this island which has wallabies on it, right? Is that the
island
you mentioned?
We don't sail there. Allegedly, there's wallabies on the island. So it's really one of I suppose one of the lochs mysteries.
How does it get there? You know, especially from an Australian. I mean, wallabies are a natural. I mean, we see them everywhere. To come all the way to Scotland and find them randomly on an island in the middle of Loch Lomond.
Yeah, good swimmers, obviously.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So do you do events on the boat as well? Like, I think you do weddings and things as well, don't you?
Yeah, we do weddings, corporate events, dinner cruises. So on the larger vessels, we can provide lunch or maybe some dinner on board. And so we do a lot of birthday parties and weddings where we'll work with local hotels and churches. So as part of the day's celebration, the couple and their guests would come on board the boat for a glass of fizz, some canopies, allow the guests to mingle, and then we'd maybe take them to a local hotel for their evening reception.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, I mean, it is a beautiful part of the world. I mean, I've lived in Arica for a while, worked when it was the Cobbler Hotel back in the day. I don't know if you've ever met the Root Reed family that used to own the Cobbler Hotel.
Very well, Sean, yeah.
Back in the day there. And then when I drove for shearings, I stayed at the hotel right on the foreshore there as well a few times. Plus, we're constantly bringing the bus loads of people down to the shore there, whether it's 50 or so on a tour, or if it's one of our private tours as well. You know, we come down to the pier there and drop off.
Yeah. Well, the very village of Arica, where the hotel you mentioned.
Yes.
As Fred and I both were local lads and grew up on Loch Lomond, which is the neighbouring loch.
Yeah, the sea loch. Yeah.
I've actually swam across it once.
Again. Yeah. No, good effort. Stunning.
Yeah.
The tide's crazy because, you know, I always talk about how there's freshwater lochs and seawater lochs. And obviously, usually we come Glasgow way, so we pass Loch Lomond first. And I say, okay, how do you kind of know which one's which? And then you say, well, look, at the shore's here. And then you go round to Arrochcar, which is obviously not so far. And then suddenly there's no water. And you're like, okay, that's water that's the tide. So it's quite cool.
Out.
It's crazy how much it goes out, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different environment altogether. It's dynamic. It's changing every day with the tides.
Yeah.
Whereas Loch Lomond has its own beauty, its own tranquility. They are very different, but we're so lucky to to have these choices here. Whether you want to go for a walk, or as you said, Sean, go for a swim in the loch.
Yeah. I won't tell you what state I was in, but yeah, we ended up swimming it.
Yeah. No, so many outdoor activities, which we're only an hour from Glasgow. 50% of the Scottish population live within an hour's drive of Loch Lomond.
Yeah.
We're very lucky, very fortunate.
So once you mentioned that, how is the breakup really? Do you have more international clients or like visitors, or is it really a good mix of Scottish, UK visitors and international?
Yeah, we're about 60% overseas visitors.
Yeah.
I'd say Scotland seems to be a real go-to destination at the moment.
Yes.
But we do a lot with maybe not staycation, domestic tourist visitors, day trippers, who maybe for 2 of the holidays throughout the year, they'll come to Scotland. And we've seen huge improvements in the food and drink offering in the last 10 years, which obviously helps.
Yeah.
But I think it's this accessibility. It's the fact that cruise operators like ourselves, we're getting people into the inaccessible spots. They can enjoy that the tranquility and the peaceful, the well-being of being out in the outdoors. I think this is a concept, the concept of blue health and blue space.
Yeah.
Is something that more and more of us are becoming aware of. I'm a swimmer in the loch. I love it. It's again, for my own sanity, it's there's nothing better. And whether you're out walking, cycling, swimming, or just being on the water,
just
this idea of blue space it's very calming, and I think it's something we're going to see. The profile is going to rise a lot in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think at times like this, where we have got this enforced isolation, you're going to get more people who live very close. I mean, whether it's to Glasgow itself or anyone. I mean, you're not even half an hour to 40 minutes away from the centre of Glasgow. If you've been stuck in a flat for 2 months, it's a matter of getting on a bus or just driving your car for 30 minutes, and you're right in the middle of some of the most beautiful scenery in the world. And I think people have always taken it for granted, especially the people that live here. And I think now you're going to get more and more local people getting out, as you say, enjoying the green and the blue spaces, just because it is so close. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and sorry, Beryl.
No. You finish first, and I was going to ask.
No, I was just going to say it's that whole connecting with nature and just the peace and tranquility of it all.
Yeah.
And I do think, you, but all of your colleagues, all of them who I've met, they all portray that. You can see how they're all, they feel like, it feels like they've all been born on a boat. They just love the water, they love the scenery, they love the stories that surround Loch Lomond. And that's what makes it, doubly interesting, because, you obviously have the lovely scenery, but at the same time, it's really interesting to hear what happened there 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. That's brilliant. Yeah, and it brings you down.
Yeah.
We've been there on obviously not stormy days, but we had days when it was kind of rough and obviously either foggy or even rainy, but every time the group came off it and was absolutely delighted, uplifted, because even if you had to stay cooped up inside because it was too rough outside, they still felt like it just feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a fresh air. And you mentioned there the history. We're always, as well as the company's 40th anniversary recently, the West Highland Way is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. And then I read the other day, Ben Lomond celebrating its 150 million anniversary. That's how long the record's been there. So
Yeah.
another
That's
cause
crazy.
to open a bottle of whiskey and have a dram.
Well, I wouldn't be trying to be putting candles on the cake for that one.
It wouldn't quite fit.
Yeah, it's a lot of matches.
So let's talk about your boats again. So how many people would fit on the smallest boat?
Smallest about 42.
Okay, so
And
that's
the largest
still
one,
quite good,
126.
though, isn't it? And they all have outside and inside seating, don't they? We'll try
Yeah,
to
they've all
put
got
some pictures and
decks.
show some, will it? And okay, that's the fleet again. And then let's see another one. And the biggest you said 170?
126.
Oh wow. And you,
Yeah.
well, obviously I know because we've been there so many times. You have a cafe on shore, but you obviously have, like, each boat has a mini cafe as well, so you're able to kind of serve coffees and hot toddies, like you'd like to mention. So
That's right. We have a Roy whiskey coffee.
yeah.
We also have some lovely local products. Loch Lomond Ales, our local microbrewery, run by Fiona and Ewan. Have you tasted any of those, Sean?
I've had a few of the beers. Yeah, I always like to support local companies. It's purely for
research reasons.
For research reasons and for helping the economy. I do it.
Yeah, no, obviously I'm currently off the alcohol, but I'll try it again once I'm back on it.
A lovely range of products from, we've got a very light ale, and then some medium, almost like an IPA, and then you go up to like darker beers. So very popular with both locals and continentals. They go down very well with the Germans and Scandinavians.
Yeah, Germans like their beers, and they really like to try local beers. That's most important to them, I know. Yeah. So we always try to mention that's a good one to have local stuff. Yeah. And
then of course we've got plenty of local whiskies, with Glengoyne being one of our local distilleries, and the new Loch Lomond distillery as well.
Yes, Sean, you've been to the Loch Lomond distillery, haven't you?
I have. I've done a tour of the Loch Lomond distillery with a bunch of crazy Vikings from Sweden. Yeah, so it's good because they've got the gin there as well, and they've got
That's right.
They've got the malt whiskey, and then they've got a rye whiskey as well.
Yeah, that's right. Ben Lomond gin. That's quite new to the market. And then on the food front, we've got a beautiful local crystal shortbread, which is very popular.
Yeah, the shortbread. Oh, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be talking about food too much. I'm hungry. We didn't manage to have a proper
We haven't had lunch. We've had a busy morning and then getting set up for this as well. So, yes.
And sorry, I wanted to ask one more thing about the boats. So you have obviously a lot of scheduled outings because of the big groups that come, but you also have the regular, so when an individual traveller comes, they can just kind of come on and get on one boat, right?
That's right. They can just rock up. For all our groups, they tend to be pre-booked.
Yeah.
And
so say, as of how many people would you like people to pre-book?
On the for groups, when they pre-book, they get their own vessel.
Yes.
They get exclusive
use of the
boat.
We were going with friends, like, if it's just 8 of us, would you say, well, still pre-book or should just show up? As what numbers would you suggest?
No, best to pre-book online. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It allows us to manage the numbers better and make sure we have the right size vessel in advance for that sailing.
And if it's just a family of 4, for example, they can just rock up. And then how often do the boats actually go out?
Yeah. So departures from Tarbet, every day we have 3 sailings in the morning and then 4 in the afternoon departures. Yeah. And from the village of Luss, we have 2 in the morning and then 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And departing from Luss, very different kind of landscape down there in the kind of central belt of the Loch. Beautiful islands, and two of the departures sail to this island in Skyloch, where guests can disembark with a picnic or a walk, and then the boat would come back and pick them up later and bring them back to Luss.
So that's almost like a full day trip then, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of our more popular ones. The cruises around the islands from Luss, and also the one that sails to Inchkilloch Island.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And that only leaves from Luss, though. That wouldn't leave from Tarbert.
That's right. The Tarbert. So up, as I mentioned, the different landscape up here at Tarbert. It's very much fjord-like. It's more mountainous. Yeah. And the cruises, we sail over to Inversnaid, over to the West Highland Way, and also to Raardennen to allow people to climb Ben Lomond.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. So either if you're out for hill walking and want the passage over, go to Tarbert. If you want like a picnic day on an island, you go to Luss. So that's where.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Ben Lomond, how long would you recommend to get a decent walk? Could you get to the top?
Yeah. Well, in the morning, Sean, the boat leaves at just before 9 o'clock, 8:45 from Tarbert, and we get to Raardennen about 9:30 at the foot of the hill.
Yeah.
And the return cruise doesn't depart until 4:45.
Okay.
So
we have a full day.
A big enough window for people to go and families to walk the Ben. Enjoy a picnic en route. It's a well-trodden track.
Yeah.
But that we've found that's more than ample time, so that people are not, breaking.
Yeah, stressing. Yeah. They feel like they have to. Yeah. And they could always get one boat after still, just in case.
We just have one return boat, so they need to make sure they get that one.
Yeah, but you said you wouldn't be leaving without anyone if you knew they were supposed to come.
No.
It would be mean.
Yeah.
Could get a bit cold overnight.
We make sure they pay on the way over.
Good point.
So don't do what Krista Berg says, eh? Don't pay the ferryman.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that's cool. What was I going to ask you? Facilities on the boats for like wheelchairs and disabled. Everything's what limitations? Do you have certain boats you would use if you knew that you had?
There are some vessels with greater access. What we tend to find, Sean, is that if particularly those that have come by coach, if they're able to get it on and off a coach, then it's the same for the vessels. We are restricted in many respects. Some of the piers and jetties are of an age. A lot of steps on the piers, which does give us challenges.
Yeah.
But that's something we're always reviewing. With other stakeholders, with councils and national park, to improve those facilities.
Yeah. Because I know with Luss, you're kind of limited to where you can get the vehicle right up to the pier because you've only got the little road there. So I suppose it'd be the Luss that have to get from the main car park to where the ferry leaves anyway.
Yes.
But with Tarbert, you can get right down
to the pier,
pretty much to the pier. So that's a lot easier.
Yep, a lot easier. Yeah, in Luss, you do have that, a 10, 15-minute walk from the car park down to the pier.
That's cool. Yeah. And I was going to say, any plans of it kind of extending where you're going to go, sort of heading down towards Loch Lomond shore, anywhere that way, or?
Yeah, well, we've just in the last couple of years we've introduced new routes across to Balmaha, the village on the eastern shore, and we work very closely with the guys at the Oak Tree Inn there.
Beautiful, so lovely, that's a lovely pub. That.
Yeah, and again, it's this idea about a half-day experience whereby families and visitors can go and spend 3-4 hours ashore at Balmaha, maybe climb Connacht Hill.
Because they hire canoes up there as well, so you can actually do like canoe trips out on the water. I'm pretty sure the hotel there hires out canoes by the hour and things. So
lots of activities, cycle hire, and it's a beautiful. It's a great spot.
It's such a beautiful view back out on the loch. It's just so amazing.
Yeah, again, looking over Inchkilloch. Yeah. And then from the top of Connacht Hill, you're looking over all the islands, Inchmurrin, Torringe, Creanch, all part of the Highland boundary fault line.
Yeah.
So it's stunning. We're very lucky.
I know. Don't make us jealous. We're here in Edinburgh. We can't see it from here.
All right.
So say, we were saying earlier, so if it wasn't Loch Lomond, where's your second favourite spot in Scotland?
Oh, possibly the West Coast. It's got to be the West Coast. Maybe starting in Oban, down that coast, south to Loch Melford. And then, of course, going across the islands, the island of Coll in Tiree.
So you need water.
Yeah, I do.
Do you sail as well, or just...
With my whiskey.
Do you sail as well?
I need water. What's that?
Do you sail?
I don't sail. Fred does, my co-director. He's a big sailor, and again does a lot of sailing on the west coast of Scotland.
Yeah, I always love it because obviously the east coast is very cut clear almost, isn't it? And the west coast has all these little fjords. So for sailing, especially in the west coast, it's just amazing because you've got all these little fjords where these lochs where you can actually just stay.
Yeah.
No,
the west coast of Scotland is very special.
So how much time do you spend on the boat when you're not actually working? Is it?
Again, don't take it for granted. I'll go with my family over to the island, or we'll go and do, maybe Ben Lomond, or go and visit the guys at the Oak Tree Inn.
Yeah.
Why
so
not?
This is your life, which is, I can understand why, but yeah. So
do you get to the point when you're sort of in the off season where you're just sort of going, come on, let's get back out there, you've worn holes on the floor and things like that. You just got to get back out.
Can't come soon enough.
Yeah.
How many days do you actually have downtime? Like how is there any, like over Christmas, I think you're not running, or are you running almost every?
Yeah, you're right. Our schedule's finishing at the beginning of November. And start again at the end of March. But what we've found is that the shoulder seasons every year are they're almost extending every year.
Yeah.
And more and more people are enjoying traveling in the kind of off season. It's quieter. It's a different kind of scenery. It's not as busy. They can get accommodation.
Yeah.
The roads are not as busy. So for us, that close season when we're doing all our maintenance, it's becoming a smaller window.
You have to be quicker.
Yeah. Without
because I know, because it's not like an ocean loch, the tide still does vary a lot. I mean, I've been there sometimes where the water has actually been overlapping the pier itself. Yeah,
so that's due to rainfall.
Yeah.
So obviously no tide, but this winter was a prime example whereby the loch was extremely high and Tarbert Pier was underwater.
Yeah.
Which obviously operationally we're stuck. So that's where we rely on floating jetties elsewhere around the lochs, for example, up at Inverglis. Yeah.
Well, you also still have the waterworks as well, which pump water out, but then obviously pump it back in. So that also kind of affects the tide, doesn't it? Like that, the level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if again, so the outlet at the south end of the loch, the River Leven. Again, so that's the main outlet, and it's important that keeps running, keeps flowing to maintain a reasonable level of the loch.
Yeah. Cool. So we're almost finished with our time. So is there anything you want to mention that we haven't asked you yet?
No.
Can you give us a look out your window?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Take us, and show us what we're missing out.
We've got people all around the world there, and you can't miss your view.
Oh, we can see a boat. We can see a boat. Yay!
Your boat.
Oh, it's so nice.
You see Ben Lomond?
Yeah,
just up in the background.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh.
So people are stuck in flats here in Edinburgh.
Okay, that's life, right? Stuart Cordner lives a life, and we're stuck here. Well, thanks for that. That was amazing.
Very lucky.
So we kind of we don't know when the lockdown is finally be lifted again, but I'm pretty sure once it's starting to be lifted, you're probably one of the first to see the influx coming again, because I guess people will search for the green and the blue spaces, because they still, I feel I don't think travel will go up like this, but people will want to travel, but they want to see open spaces. So that's, I would probably head to lochs and lakes first as well, because that's where you can still feel like there's a lot of space there and there's a lot of fresh air. And then, like you said, hopefully the shoulder season will go a lot longer. So it's good to know that you'd be still running in November when people might feel like now is the time I'm going to come. Yeah,
of course. It has, that time of year has its own beauty. Beyond the summer months, you're seeing different wildlife, different colours, and I think it's as I get older, you start to appreciate it's the light, and it's just the different light, and
that's true.
How that what it throws in the landscape at different times of the year.
Yeah, it's just the changing colours of the foliage. Everything goes from green to the reds and the oranges, and then to the dark greys, and then it sort of starts coming back again. This time of year now, even when we go for walks, you're seeing all the trees now are coming to bud. It's like everything's regrowing again. It's a rebirth, ready for the next season.
Yep.
I think all of us, you and I and Beryl, this time of the year now, we're all getting sort of...
Like you get to it, like itchy feet, you want to go.
You get April, May, right, this is it. This is when our
season
starts,
But we've been actually with friends. We stayed in the Stackgowan Lodge, which is not far from...
Just south of Tarbert,
Yes, for New Year's. So we've seen it, in the depth of winter, and it was still pretty and beautiful. It was still lovely to see. Obviously, your boats weren't running. But, like I've seen it in all seasons as myself now. So, yes, so we will leave it at that. Thank you, Stuart, for joining us. And we'll all see you soon on Loch Lomond, and hopefully I'll visit us as well. Thank you. Well,
thanks a lot, Stuart.
Guys.
We'll show the video again, right?
Yeah, we'll show it. I'll pick another video.
Okay.
All right, so Beryl can...
Oh, I can over...
You can have a chat while I find a video.
Yeah, so technically we're getting better, huh? So on Thursday we will have Nadia here, and we'll talk about Outlander stuff, favorite locations that Outlander has to offer, and other locations as well. Stuart, have a lovely day. It was so lovely to see you online, and we'll see you in real life soon. Bye bye.
See you soon. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay.